So dividend paying stocks provide a way for investors to get paid during rocky market periods when capital gains are hard to achieve, which is right about now. That's according to Fidelity Investments. So in this video, I'll share with you all the dividend income I have received from January of this year, and I continue to receive throughout this market turmoil as a dividend investor. That's why I love dividend stocks. But first, let's start by looking at how much I received in dividend income in the first 3 months of 2024, January through March of 2024, just for perspective. So this is an activity summary that I have downloaded from my brokerage account on Questrade, and column B is basically the transaction date, which would be the date on which I received the dividends. Action is dividends, because that's what I'm sharing. Column D is tickers. Tickers are codes by which stocks trade on the market. So I've shared this before, but for anyone who is new, stocks trade by codes on the stock market and they're called tickers. So the ticker for Johnson & Johnson is J&J. The ticker symbol for the Royal Bank of Canada is RY. The ticker symbol for Procter & Gamble is PG, and so on. Column E is basically the description or the name of the company that I have invested in that's paying me the dividends. Column F, quantity, the number of shares for which I am being paid the dividends. Column G says net amount. Now, my brokerage, Questrade, allows investors to hold stocks in either Canadian or US dollars or both, depending on where the stock is listed. So the amounts in this column are the exact amount in the respective currencies in which I was paid. Because I hold my US listed stocks in US dollars and receive dividends in US dollars, and I hold my Canadian listed stocks in Canadian dollars and receive dividends in Canadian dollars as well. Column H is currency, US dollars or Canadian. Column I says all Canadian. So I have converted all my US dollar dividends into Canadian dollars so that we're comparing apples to apples for reasonability. Column K says activity type, dividends, because that's what I'm sharing. So column L, account type. I have 3 different accounts on Questrade. I have 2 tax-sheltered accounts, the RRSP and the TFSA, and I have a taxable account, which is the margin account. So the RRSP is equivalent to the 401k, and the TFSA is equivalent to the Roth IRA, and the margin account is basically a regular margin account. It's a taxable account. So now let's look at how much I received in dividends in the first 3 months of 2024. So in January of 2024, I received 3 different payments for a total of $226.48. TD Bank paid me twice because I have it both in my RRSP and TFSA. And Altria Group, a US listed stock, I think they deal in smokes, cigarettes. I have that in my RRSP, paid me $71.44. That was January of 2024. In February, I received 4 different payments. Bank of Montreal paid me $181.20 for 120 shares. The Royal Bank of Canada paid me $107.64 for 78 shares. Procter & Gamble paid me $63.50. I have that in my RRSP. That's for 50 shares. And Apple paid me $7.17 for 26 shares. I have that in my TFSA. Now, something I need to point out is that if you hold US listed stocks in your TFSA in Canada, this would be subject to 15% withholding tax. So the $7.17 is net of the withholding tax. So that is February of 2024. March of 2024, I had 3 different payments for a total of $118.09. I received $37.13 for 45 shares of SCHD. This is a Schwab ETF. I also received $59 for 100 shares of Fortis. Fortis is a utility company. And I got $21.96 for 24 shares of Enbridge. This is an energy company. So $118.09. So in total, I received $704.08 for the months of January to March of 2024. So if you enjoy content like this, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. It helps the channel grow. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Now let's look at 2025. Now to 2025. In January of 2025, I received 4 different payments for a total of $267.80. Again, TD paid me twice. I have TD both in my RRSP and TFSA. I have 136 shares, and so TD paid me $142.80 in my RRSP, 75 shares in my TFSA, and I received $78.75. Canadian Natural Resources and XIC, these two I added in 2024. So Canadian Natural Resources, I have 60 shares and I received $33.75 on January the 3rd. And XIC, this is a BlackRock ETF that tracks the entire Canadian market. I have 52 shares in my margin account and I received $12.50 for a total of $267.80. So that's January of 2025. And in February of 2025, I received 6 different payments for a total of $558.33. Now remember, I received about $360 in February of 2024. So this is an increase of almost 55%. On February the 13th, I received $7.61 from Apple for 25 shares. And AbbVie, this is a new position. I have 30 shares of AbbVie and I received $59.80. And that was on February the 14th. On February the 18th, Procter & Gamble, another US listed stock, paid me $71.97 for 50 shares. Remember, the amounts I'm sharing are the ones in Canadian dollars, but you can also have a look at the net amount. So these are in US dollars where applicable, because Apple, AbbVie, and Procter & Gamble are all US listed stocks. So the net amounts would be in US dollars. So yes, Procter & Gamble, 50 shares, I received $71.97. So the Royal Bank of Canada, I got paid twice by this stock because I have it in both my RRSP and my TFSA. So on the 24th of February, the Royal Bank of Canada paid me $60.68 for 41 shares in my TFSA. And then I also received $121.36 for 82 shares in my RRSP. And then finally, on February the 27th, Bank of Montreal, ticker symbol BMO, paid me $236.91 for 149 shares in my TFSA for a grand total of $558.33. So that's February of 2025. Now let's look at March. Now remember, we're just getting to the midway point of March. So March is not yet done, and I expect to receive more dividend payments in March. But for now, midway through the month, I have received 5 payments so far for a total of $308.98. So Enbridge, this is an energy company, paid me twice on March the 3rd. I have Enbridge both in my margin account and TFSA, $56.55 for 60 shares. It also paid me the second time, $108.39 for 115 shares in my TFSA. Fortis, ticker symbol FTS. This is a utility company. I have 142 shares, paid me $87.33 in my TFSA. That was on the 3rd of March as well. And then Visa, this is a US listed stock, of course. I have 10 shares and received $8.50. That's in my RRSP. So I received 4 different payments on the 3rd of March. Then on the 4th of March, Johnson & Johnson paid me $48.21 for 27 shares in my RRSP. In total, $308.98. So year to date, collectively, January to March, the middle of March anyway, I have received $1,135.11. So remember that in 2024, for the whole of January to March, 3 full months, I received $704.08. Now compare that to 2025, where for 2.5 months, I have already received $1,135.11. So the $1,135 is equivalent to about $378 per month in income for the first 3 months. If you average this over the first 3 months of the year, So that's the advantage, or that's the joy of investing in dividend stocks, so that even during market turmoils like now, I just continue collecting dividends and sit around and wait for the markets to recover. So as you can see from this bar, the progress is significant year over year. In January, so the green bar shows 2024 and the blue shows 2025. You can see $226.48 in 2024 and then $267 in 2025. That's about an 18% increase there. And then in February, you can see how noticeable the difference is. In February of 2024, I received $359.51, and then in February of 2025, almost $560. That's about 55% increase in dividend income, February month over month across the 2 years. And then in March, look at this, and the month is not yet over again. In the whole of March of 2024, I received less than $120. And in the first half of March 2025, I've received about $309. That's about 260% increase already. So very exciting. And that's why I love dividend stocks. I continue to collect dividends even as markets are in turmoil. Now let's go and update my dividend tracker. So this is my dividend tracker. If you've watched some of my earlier videos, you'd have seen this. It starts in 2021 when I opened this brokerage account on Questrade. And so in total, I received $61.90 in 2021. Then in 2022, I received a total of $889.10. In 2023, I received a total of $1,167.62. And then last year in 2024, I received $3,617.64. You'll notice that my dividend income is nearly doubling year over year, from $890 to $1,670. That's about 90% increase from 22 to 23. So 22 obviously was the first full year I had this portfolio. Then 2023 to 2024, from 1,667 to 3,617. That's more than 100% increase in dividend income year over year. Now let's enter how much I have received in March so far. $308.98. Enter there. And so the total for 2025 so far is $1,135.11. March will get updated when we get to the end of the month because I'm expecting more income. So that is my dividend tracker updated. Now, I have received requests to share this dividend tracker, so I will attach a copy of the template down in the description section. Feel free to download it. I don't need emails or anything. It's free. And update it accordingly. It probably has some months that you may not have been, or years that you may not have been investing. Feel free to delete and adjust accordingly. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.